Okay, so I was hoping my first video, after a bit of a dry spell would have been something fun. Basically, I figured out that the, super duper magnetic bed that I made for my 3D printer was interfering with my bltouch. Since it uses a Hall effect sensor, tried magnetic shielding tape, tried grounding that, tried various things. And unfortunately, no matter what I do, I'll probably put some images up here. When you increase the resolution for the bltouch mesh level enough, you can actually see the rows where the magnets are causing interference. So I was going to order one of just the differential IR bed level sensors. And, I thought, okay, that'll work quite nice. They're high accuracy. They have to be within 1.5 millimeters of the nozzle, though, which is a quite narrow window. So I figured, hey, why not spend a bit more and get a Creality CR Touch? Because I thought this was just a bltouch clone, but it actually uses an it uses an actual optical line break sensor to detect when the pin goes back in. So it still uses a solenoid to deploy the pin, but it won't be suspect to magnetic interference. So it's currently 2:49 a.m. And I have it apart because, in my opinion, this is a fucking embarrassing product to release. And it's been out for over a year at this point, maybe 2 years? I'm not sure when this was released. But this thing is fucking embarrassing. And there's one reason why, and I'll put a little sample clip of it now. Yeah. If it's something I think a lot of people, or a fair few people, know about. I'm not sure how popular these are, but this thing rattles non-fucking stop while you print. Even at moderately low speeds when you're moving back and forth, just homing or doing a Z tilt, this thing rattles. The bltouch that I have, which is currently covered in, some thick magnetic shielding tape, this doesn't make a noise. It clicks, when you're actually using it and stuff, but that's it. It doesn't make any noise. And sorry, this is just super frustrating because I've been trying to fix this thing for a while. People say, oh, the CR Touch is higher build quality, it's nicer than the bltouch, all that sort of stuff on a few videos I saw before I ordered it. So okay, I'll pay a bit extra. This was like $75 Canadian or something, I think, because it was like through a local seller and I could get it, in a couple days. Why is this thing rattling not on the reviews, and how has this thing been out, even if it's only been out for like a year, which I'm sure it's been more than a year? How has there not been a revision to fix this? I don't know. People are saying, oh, the metal pin is nice because it won't catch on things and break, or it won't melt under high temperatures. The melting thing, sure, probably. The bltouch, if it catches on something, it snaps off. You can replace the pin. I've had this thing for years. I haven't had to do that yet, even though it has caught on stuff. But you can replace the pin. This thing, if something goes wrong with it, you have to replace the whole unit because it's this solenoid that they outsource to some company and just put like a special tip on it so it looks different. But if it's metal, then it won't break. But then, if it catches on something, there's more chance it's going to mess up your hot end alignment or break some other stuff. Or I think this is a much safer failure method. You can see how it's actually got like sort of a thinner section, and so that would snap off if it gets caught. I think that's safer. It's a better margin for safety. As much as I like the bltouch, I can't use it because the Hall effect interference is just too much and it is completely unusable. And I thought this thing would be great, but no, it just rattles around constantly. And there's a couple fixes. One person designed a clip that when you home, you do your mesh bed level, and then you put a clip over this, which that defeats the point of having a deployable bed level sensor. If you put a clip over it, like then you have to take it off whenever you home, whenever you mesh level, whenever you Z tilt. Just put a micro switch on the little thing that you remove, like a quick draw sensor, except a quick draw sensor that you would be doing manually. And a quick draw thing is an option that I might still have to look into, even though I don't really like the idea of it, because the magnets in my bed might pull it off. But putting a physical clip over this completely defeats the point of having it. The other thing people do is they'll put a little piece of heat shrink behind this, and it'll stop the rattling. And there are like different thicknesses and stuff. I had a little bit of success with heat shrink once, just around this section, overlapping a little bit. I've tried thicker sections, and I've tried this super thin section. I can't get it to consistently stop rattling. It'll work for like a minute or two, and that's it. And this thing is super sensitive to the amount of force it takes to actually move in and out. There's also apparently some sort of like plastic shield on this actual pin, which you can heat up too much if you're doing the heat shrink. I have hot air stations, that's not a problem. But this thing is super sensitive to the amount of friction it has. And even if you isolate this one side, like, look how much play there is on the other side there. Yeah. Like, there's still loads of play. And if you just, like, just very gently move it back and forth, it wobbles around, and that other side moves around, and it makes fucking noise. If you actually pull the solenoid out, the wires are not captive or not socketed or anything, so you gotta be careful. But then you can actually just have it, it's even worse. Okay, well, I have the thing on there. Let's take that off. So when you have it in, I think the actual sensor back here is acting a bit like a bearing on the shaft. Essentially, this front side would be a bearing surface, and the back side would be a bearing, because you need one on each side to keep it stable. But you can see there is loads of play in that. And if you have it out, it's even worse for rattle. And I've been trying to figure out a way to fix this fucking thing. Because aside from that rattle, it's perfect. But it is such an obnoxious, pitched, constant rattle that is just... Like, I have a Sun-On maglev fan for cooling my hot end. That's fine. But this thing is just unfucking bearable. I cannot be in the same room, or even the adjacent room with the door closed when this thing is printing, with this Creality CR Touch, because it rattles so much and so loudly and so high-pitched. So I'm going to keep trying to figure out ways to fix it. I was thinking maybe one of the small bits of silicone hose or heat shrink on the end, and then another basically bracket that I would like resin print or something and hold it in here, because you can't add any resistance or this thing is going to error out when it tries to deploy. But something that would just have like a little bit of soft rubber and just hold it a little bit further out. But I've been trying with like little bits of foam, and it doesn't seem to work. And on the actual other side of it seems like they kind of tried with a little piece here. That doesn't do it though, because they can't put any lateral force on this. They can't put any lateral force here, otherwise it's gonna stop working. So they need to, I think, put like a stronger spring solenoid in this and bump up the current for it. Or, I don't know, maybe do something like this, but with a plastic pin and a magnet, right? Like if you make a solenoid, like is in the top of a bltouch, and you have a magnet and a plastic pin, there's no metal to rattle around. Like, that solves that issue. The only problem with the bltouch is it uses a Hall effect for that same thing. So, like, I need that. I need the two of these mushed together. I was so excited for this because I thought it would, just plug and play, barely have to change. I don't have to make any firmware changes. I just change my Z offset. It'll be great. But that one fatal flaw of this product, which hasn't been fixed somehow, which is, in my opinion, completely embarrassing as a product. I thought Creality was fairly reputable for quality stuff, but holy hell. Anyone who gets one of these and is excited about it, and who hasn't had a bltouch, I'm sorry that you think that maybe all of these things rattle or something. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just super frustrated. I'm going to keep trying to fix it. If I can find a fix for this, then I will, I'll share it. But that little heat shrink mod that one person does, it seems like it's kind of like a 50-50 shot as to whether or not it'll work. I saw someone else who tried it, and it just didn't work at all. And, yeah, I don't know. I was hoping for like a nice cheery video where, hey, my bed level issues were fixed and stuff. And when I mesh bed level with this and I Z-tilt with this, it is much better than the bltouch. You can't see the defined rows of the magnets affecting the Hall effect sensor. And I'm getting better consistent print quality across the whole area. I have gantry sag on my x-axis, I'm pretty sure still, by about like half a millimeter in the middle. But this is helping me rule out other problems. And it is exactly what I wanted it to do, except for that one critical flaw. I've probably repeated myself, but yeah. Hopefully I can find a fix for this. If not, I'm just going to put this video out there for the 20 maximum people who will see it, and the one of those that might be considering a CR Touch. Find something else. It's just, unless you have like a dedicated workshop where you start a print and you don't go back in, or you always have headphones around it, don't get a CR Touch. It's not, in my opinion, a product that should have been released yet. So, hopefully I can find a fix with that, because it has so much promise. But I highly doubt it.